Ofa Akwaba.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we have laws in
Yes,
Africa?
yes, there are laws. Every country, to my best of knowledge, have laws that governs the land.
Then how come some people intentionally either they disobey the law or they show disrespect to the law?
I mean, when it comes to a matter of law,
Mm-hmm.
there are those that use the law against another, and there are those that, I mean, especially when you're looking at who is going against the law,
Mm-hmm.
we normally find citizenry or individuals going against the law, but
Mm-hmm.
we have places where the law, since the law has to be enforced,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there can be a law, but the law may not be enforced.
Okay.
So sometimes those who are enforcing it may use it to their advantage,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe cause the citizens to also revolt and then maybe go against the law. But in general, when there are laws, there are individuals that will seek to overcome, or not to overcome, like disobey the law.
Mm-hmm.
And why they disobey the law, there are those that, I mean, go the criminal route, and mostly we talk about criminality when it's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
So for survival's sake, we can see people going against the law, and then there are those that are ignorant of the law that can also go against the law. So I can see these are the two main reasons why we have people going against the law. Either going against it in the sense that you are using it,
Mm-hmm.
kind of you've seen yourself above the law,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't obey the law, and
Okay.
because the law cannot touch you, we don't see you as going against the law, or people
Mm.
see you as not going against the law, but there's nothing they can do about it. So that is one way, and then we can talk about the citizenry that is revolting against the law because sometimes the law is unjust.
Mm-hmm.
If the law is unjust, then they will go against the law. If they are ignorant of the law, they will go against the law. And if it does not fit their survival, it may be just, but to them they see that a threat to their survival, so they will still go against the law.
I'll make a quote from the Bible. Jesus Christ said to the Pharisees, "Was the people make because were the people created because of the law, or the law was made because of the people?" So if the law was made because of the people, and the people cannot obey the law, they should just grant it devoid. Like you was talking about, the Homeda,
Yeah.
talking about that. So if, oh, okay, let's by force do this. Okay, this was done because of this. He explained it. If he cannot, all right. Let me use Ghanaians abroad. Most Ghanaians abroad. But when you look at the social media, those who are on social media, and I don't really see those who are in Ghana insulting seriously because they know they are in the country. And when they insult somebody, when they go against the law will deal with them. But when you look at those who are seriously, with impunity, let me use that word, with impunity, insulting people, issues are for whom these people are those who live in abroad. Why do you think they do that? Is it because they think they are not in the country, or they think the law, they have the right in abroad, as people say, oh, I have right to talk. I have right to talk.
I believe one other reason why, from what you're saying, I can see why people be doing it is,
Mm,
of course, not knowing the law. And sometimes people know the law, but not the repercussion of the law.
mhm.
They may know don't do this, but they don't really understand or know what will happen if you do that. That is also one.
Okay.
And sometimes when people live within two jurisdictions,
Mm.
if I'm living in US and you're in Ghana, I may not know exactly the laws that govern Ghana. I may be using US law,
You
where
came from Ghana.
yeah, but maybe and that's one thing about law. I mean, when you ask the lawyers, the law books are like
They don't even
you
know
never
all.
know until you go wrong,
Go
then the
wrong,
law
yeah.
will catch you. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, sometimes when you're living within two jurisdictions, you tend to apply one jurisdiction law uh, upon superimpose one jurisdiction law on another land. So, for instance, here we do have the freedom of speech. So you may not know the limits of it in Ghana or how it is interpreted, if there is possibly one in Ghana. You don't know the rules or the law and its tentacles and branches when it comes to Ghana in its application of freedom of speech. But I think insults, when it comes to insults, it should be a freedom of speech. But most often it's more like whoever that takes it as a pain or as a grievance is where he applies the law.
Okay.
So you can be babbling nonsense. Excuse me to say, to me it's nonsense, but to you maybe it's an insult. It's a word, because it can be a form of preaching. We don't want a way where individuals will not be able to express themselves and how they feel with regard to um, how they see reality and then circumstances in their speech. But I think it always becomes an issue when we, the people, we find it sometimes like a pastor. The church members, if you insult them, they don't care. But when you insult their pastor, then you're in problem, because what, he is a public figure and he has reputation and image to protect. So when you touch him by your words, you've touched the man. So I think it should be freedom of speech, but individuals must be prepared to face the law. If there is law against defamation, which is a law, then whoever brings the case, because it is no case until somebody brings it before the law that, hey, I've been in, my reputation has been damaged by so and so, then he has to prove. For instance, you say somebody is stupid, you have to prove by the law how you think he's stupid or prove his stupidity. Because if it's truth, it's truth. Why do we penalize somebody for saying somebody is stupid when indeed he is stupid? So I believe there should be a way to protect our speech, because we don't want a way where like dynasty powers there be will come and then will force people not to talk. Because when we begin to say this is insult and it's not allowed, then statement of fact and truth can be deemed as insult, and then you can't express your sentiments, your feelings, because when I say this, it can be interpreted as insult. So I can't say, I have to keep quiet. Then there wouldn't be criticisms in our society. And above all, the most important thing here is for us to understand how sovereign we are. And then that is the reason why there's the law of defamation. If I'm sovereign, you are sovereign, you can say whatever you can say. But if I deem it as a threat, I deem it as a defamation, I can sue you. And then I'll prove it in court. This is a defamation. And I think that is how the United States operates. I don't know how it applies in Ghana.
Have you heard of that Lumbe's song? Bang, 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 yeah, yeah, kakwintum, bang, 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 bang.
I love that song.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I was in Ghana,
kakwintum.
even when I had not traveled, I did really like that
You
song.
see, recently when that Lumba died, and this brouhaha started, people, the whole thing, the whole Ghana divided. And people were supporting Akosua Sewa because she is the first wife. And others like me also were not in agreement. Yes, we respect the fact that she's the first wife, but the first wife doesn't mean you are a wife on paper. That is my argument. What it means is that when your husband is sick, your husband is in trouble, you fight for your husband. And for 15 good years, that is what I believe, that is what was heard, that you never attended to him when he was sick. That is why we supported the one, though the Bible did not encourage us to marry 2 or 3, but a little girl who was perceived naive and took care of him whilst he was in sickbed. That's why I supported him. But one thing is that I never insulted anybody. Anytime I make a video, I respect Akosua Sewa because she's older than me. She could be my mother. I respect Akosua Sewa because she's a wife of my legend, Dad Lumba. I respect her because she's a legal wife. Do you understand? And I respect Odobroni as well. I just make a video and try to do comparison and see where makes sense to me. If you are watching my video and it doesn't make sense to you, that is your problem. You can also make your video and tell us what makes sense to you. It's not an insult. But some people intentionally took the case to a different level where they insulted and accused others of, even to the extent of killing Lumba, to the extent of, doing a whole lot of things. Like, I could say, well, I say, meanwhile, you don't have evidence.
Yep, that's
Yes, yeah, on Friday when you drive Uber or people are comfortable better mom we be near. Ejuma nkrofo ye wa abrochire na ye bi ne ememe na abobi. Last night you were talking about it, right? Ememe na abo ashawo bi. So that's yeah. Say obi bobia, but the fact that obi aka no enkyere say me nso me nkochina baby nka because me tumi nya asem wo.
yeah.
Ebi onipa ko na oka ne the person has evidence, but me I don't. What is say? You say, what's it that I say, Abrawa, na what I'm ukra, uchanse na ukwakoje. Unimidia and kwa chiche. So Obi said the fact that someone is saying that this woman was this doesn't mean you should also say some. Then some people were also saying Odobroni she killed Lumba and she's having this, she's pregnant, she's this.
I mean, can't you even see it's a matter of false accusation?
False accusation, yes.
Even
So
Bible,
all these were one thing. The reason why I'm bringing this story is that all these were, we're talking about law, right? All these were the Odobroni's corner never made any comment except all those who were, and Akosha Sewa also never made any comment, just that she came to say thank you to those who supporting. Yeah, that is why people are ambassador. For me, I don't have, that is not my issue. They never made any attempt or never made it clear to the public that they are taking those matters seriously.
Have the right.
And for about 8 months now, not an insult alone, no, accusation that she killed her husband. She was sleeping with Roman father, that Lumba's manager. That Lumba caught her in bed with Roman father, and they made AI thing really sleeping in bed with black. Does it make sense?
The thing is, maybe you know how here in the United States, some people live by suing.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Some people will intentionally come and drive in front of you and realize that when they realize that you are looking on your phone, they will step on the brake. You hit them, bam, they sue you. That is how they live.
So if she was somebody like that, she could intentionally write letters to you and then get your word in writing too.
Yes.
I mean, you can say, "Oh, I heard somebody said that." In the law court, it's somehow difficult to prove that the person said against you. But if you wrote the person to explain yourself, to apologize, and the person can even write to you, "Nonsense! You want me to apologize?" So then that's evidence.
That's evidence.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, they timed
everything together now.
Timed for about 8 months now. Lumba died almost about 8 months. And they've gotten all the evidence. Almost the evidence they've gotten are damning evidence. And now they've gone to report it, seek for arrest warrant for almost everybody.
Wow.
All those innocent. We don't know. We don't know who is among.
I mean that's if they have a lawyer.
What people like? What prompted people was that one of those ladies in the corner of Akosha Sewa who was insulting and accusing people, even saying that Ajagoraja slept with Odobroni, all these things, right? So when the lady came to Ghana, and one sad thing is that when she was coming, she, according to what we know, sources, she left her kids with someone in Germany, or I don't know where she came from. Then she came to spend some holidays in Ghana, and the police invited her. First one to come for questioning, she didn't go. That's what we heard. The second one, she didn't go because I have my rights. and I don't owe anybody. So the third one, she didn't go, and they went for arrest warrant on her head at the airport. I don't know whether they went for her from her house or from the airport or whatever. By the time I realized she's currently in jail, like waiting for trial on Tuesday. And all the accusations that have accused her, she says she doesn't have evidence. So what is going to happen to you? That is why I'm asking the law, that the law really works. The law, you will not know the law works until, but
Somebody
when that thing
push you.
happened,
Yeah, somebody push
when
you.
that thing happened, all those who were insulting have started apologizing.
Of
They
course.
started apologizing. And whether you apologize or what, the diamond is there.
It's sad. It's sad that as much as we want to
Mm,
protect free speech, right? That
mm,
so that the right ones and the justice can be served. Because in the end of the day, we know how tyrant or tyranny the powers there is, authorities can be, because
mhm,
they are those who are like more like custodians of the law, interpreting the law,
mm.
making the laws.
Okay.
So we want to weigh a measure against them in terms with they go rogue against us, using the law against the citizenry. As much as we want to protect that, I mean, you are sovereign. That's why we are allowing you to express yourself. But why would you use that avenue to defame, damage, destroy others? I
Mm.
mean, something I can't get. You come on the news, you know it's a
But
lie.
for things that
Then you
some
say
of
all
these
these
people said,
horrible things against another person
things that some of these people
for
said,
some clicks, for some like, for
for
some
likes,
social media
for some
followers.
money,
Oh,
like social media, they're being paid,
yeah.
of course. So for more watches, more likes, more clicks and stuff. Some of these things, some of the things that they said, if you hear, there was this guy, I don't know his name. He's one of the guys among them. The way he describes Odobrone, the way but all of them, they live abroad. So the
And the,
question is, that is the reason why I sang that
yeah.
song, Yaya Kakwetu. So when right now, no, it's hard for these people to come to Ghana, honestly, because if someone has reported you, it will be there for 50 years. They can choose not to cancel the case.
Mhm.
Anytime you step the airport, you'll be arrested. Anytime, or they will come through Togo and ask.
They'll walk, they'll scale the wall.
They'll come through Togo. It's
They'll
serious
scale the
issue,
wall.
bro.
Yes, it
It's
is.
serious
But it
issue.
is.
So this your meditation. What does
Yeah.
it like? Which of the meditation talks about breaking the law? Do
Yeah,
you have
so
any
we
meditation
do
like
have
that?
a meditation here, and this is
Mm.
in meditation 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it says, it all collapses if there is no good law or an order,
Mm.
enforcement, or blatant disregard with impunity
That is what I
when
want.
the rulers partially apply or above the law. Death manifests where there is no knowledge and application of the law of life, just as darkness creeps in where light dimmers.
Mm.
Yeah, this is one of the strongest meditations that we have in here.
Mm.
Yeah, and it talks about just law. And when we talk about law, what is law? Right?
Mm.
What is law? I believe we can look at law in three folds. The first fold is the laws that we have among humans ourselves as for civilization,
Mm.
and it becomes kind of the vessel that contains the civilization. And when there's a crack in that vessel, then the whole thing falls or spills apart.
Mm.
So we can look at that first layer of law, which we use for our interaction and our relationship here on earth. And I think it's embodied in constitutions of the land, which is risen above all other laws. And we have the Supreme Court that interpreted this law, the legislature, the Senate, which also kind of make amendments and add or remove some to them as time pass.
Mm.
But when you're looking at the laws that we have for our living here on earth as
Mhm.
human beings, you can see that these laws are not eternal. They are not kind of laws that are right at all times.
Okay.
Because the law that was good 200 years ago, a year in current time may not be applicable. It may not be useful. It may not be just at the
Mm.
time that we are in. And when we're talking about just, it's not the fact that it sometimes it's not like the law itself. It's like how others also interpret it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are laws, and what are the moral grounds with which they made the law? Does it where did they make it? Those who were making it make it that it benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the nuances of these laws that are made regard to human beings making our laws to govern ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, if we know from time immemorial, from emperors, dynasty, empires, the kings and their people make those laws for the rest of the people or the land. And now we have kind of democracy where we do have delegates and individuals we elect to make these laws for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we have laws on that layer. And then we have laws with regard to spiritual life. So, every
Mm.
religious practice or religious group have their own laws
Mm.
given to them by the deity they serve. So, we can talk about Egypt. Egypt, when you read their history, their culture, you realize that they also had laws that were given to them by their gods, and even
Mm.
Pharaoh himself was God.
Mm.
And then we have the people of Israel, which we have God that gave the law to Moses, and then it came all the way down as the laws or the commandment, over 600 laws, I believe, that were
Okay.
in the Old Testament. These are laws which has spiritual kind of grounding, spiritual connotation, is spirit. And as I said, when it comes to religious laws, there are many. I mean, because
Mm.
every religion will come up with their own
With their own
laws,
law. Yeah.
and
Okay.
because they serve in different deity, you can have different laws. And then we have the third law, which is the law of life. Those laws are true.
Mm.
It doesn't matter where you live. It's not
Mm-hmm.
geographical. It's not human law that we can say is just for this place. No, it's for us all as human beings, which
Mm.
we need to learn. It's sad that earlier on, the whole intent of religion was to learn these
Mm-hmm.
natural laws or laws which are God. I wouldn't say they are given by God. They are God Himself.
Mm-hmm.
Those laws are God Himself because it applies to all living things. And no matter where you are, either you are animal, you are rock, you are tree, you are that. Those are eternal laws of God. They are
Mm.
laws of life. The very existence of us in this universe or creation balls around these laws.
Mm.
And we can see science as kind of a way of seeking knowledge into these laws that exist
Mm-hmm.
in the universe. So scientists will tell you we have
Mm-hmm.
discovered this law, we have come up with this law. So in the scientific world, how they do it is kind of you hypothesize,
Okay.
you just observe, and then you're like, oh, if I throw a rock, it comes down.
Mm.
Maybe how does it happen? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like inquisitive inquiry. We look into it. And if you're able to experiment, means repeat the process, the phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
then you can write a law that if you do this, definitely this is gonna
Okay.
happen.
Mm.
And that
For
makes
this
you,
reason.
yeah,
For
that
this reason.
that will establish that law in that area. And even years to come, some people will come and study it again and they're like, no, this is not it. And it's true in a sense that God Himself is ever wonder, changing wonder. Although there are principles for our existence stand true, sometimes what you are observing in itself changes. It's more like, is the TV because I'm watching, or because if I cease to watch, is the TV still TV?
It's still TV.
Yeah,
I want you to quote
yeah.
that part because and then I will
Mhm.
quote what Jesus said
Okay,
to the devil. Let's quote that part again.
okay.
Read the whole
The whole
thing.
thing again. Okay, it
Mm.
says it all collapses if there is no good law and
Mm.
order,
Mm.
enforcement, or blatant disregard with impunity when the
Yes.
rulers partially
Okay.
apply or
Blatant
abide the
disregard
law.
with
Mhm.
impunity.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus Christ, I think, regarded that law of what do you call it? That law of nature that you're talking about, and it's a gravitational force, which is a law, and he regard and respect that law. That is the reason why when the devil said, "It is written that he will send angels to come and protect you, right? So throw yourself, knowing very well that when you throw yourself, you are human, you don't have parachute on. Do you understand? Yes. When you throw yourself, that law will bring you down.
But that is even in the cosmic realm. It's just the earth, though.
Yes.
There are places where gravity doesn't really.
Yes. Yeah, that is that law is for the earth. Yes.
Yeah.
So if he had disregarded the law, we could say that he disregarded the law with impunity, because knowing very well that you created it, you created this earth with your father. Bible says, John chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Jesus Christ was the word, so the word was God. So if you were God and you created that law and you want to disregard it, do you understand what I mean? So if we're government and wash and bra, does it mean seven dimbra also? Here in America, no matter who you are, the police, when the police catch you, they catch you. The other time police stopped me, I was begging.
Nah.
No matter the car I was holding, I was begging. Do you understand? So if you made the law, doesn't mean you should disregard the law. What the explanation is what has prompted me that Jesus respected the law. If you disrespect a law, one law in the book of Romans says we should respect our elders and leaders. Right? If you because if the moment there is a saying in one of these Nigerian writers said the voice of the people is the voice of the gods. I think is it something Achiba, Nigerian, one of the Nigerian writers.
Chiba,
Yeah, Chini
the one
Achiba.
that
The gods of the
things
voice.
fall apart.
The things for the voice of the people is the voice of the gods. So whatever that a Bible also said that whatever you bind on earth, they bind in heaven. So that voice become the. You see, this kind of thing intertwine. Oh, it intertwines. So if you disrespect a law made by elders, that do not do this, do not commit adultery, do not disrespect. Do you understand? What do we say? Endi uyonko dasikrumu. Now, simple because you are in a different country, so you think you have the right to. I want to use the word the impunity. Oh my goodness! You think you have a right, right? Because I'm saying you'll be our right. I can say whatever I want. You've forgotten that. You see, Anoma, Ugosura, Nentakra Begufo. If you disrespect the elders, the chiefs, and you die and they are bringing you here, they can charge the family to pay. I don't know where you what's not before they bury you. Say they can do that. Yes, they can charge you. Omo boka obetwa dwan obetwa nentwie aya mambre say wegu enu fi ema nkrofo people who are surrounded they will use you as a scapegoat, so that they will use that, their children will use that to learn. Say, don't disrespect the elders and don't disregard the law. Simply, no matter how rich you are, no matter how powerful you are.
This is a difficult. It's a difficult thing. I would want to separate the wrong thing that they've done from the case of a law, right? Because when it comes to a case of the law, as I mentioned, the three types of law, the only true law which we don't rebel against is the law of life. Every other law can be challenged, because every other law that we make is we that make, and that's what Jesus said. We make the law for man, not man for God, for the law.
Yeah.
Because when you are looking at the life of Jesus, the very reason why he was killed was because he challenged the law. Right. So again, when it comes to the laws that we make as
I would say
human
the
beings,
reason he was killed was because it was a prophecy.
well, but for the prophecy to be fulfilled, there should be a reason. There should be a reason. And then, as you know, he challenged the existing the laws first, of course, the laws of Moses, and then Well, I need to be careful here. Not to say
Mhm.
he challenged it, that he opposed it, he didn't obey the law,
Mhm.
but at least he was trying to bring them beyond the practices and those laws I consider Moses gave
Mhm.
from the actual law of life,
Mhm.
because the law of life, like you need to care, you need to love, is beyond don't do anything on Sabbath day when somebody's dying.
Mhm.
You can't throw away the law of life. That
Mhm.
is the law we all obey, not
Mhm.
the law related to our survival.
Okay.
So in most cases, these laws that we have on land that human beings make, yeah, much more for societal cohesion. Right? It's for I'm careful not to use the word control people,
Mhm.
right? Because the first thing, if you're looking at from the first law, is that you are sovereign being.
Okay.
And no other man should make laws that will restrict your expression of self, the expression of self.
Mhm.
So whatever law that we are making is for us, is supposed to make our life better, to express ourselves, to
Mhm.
live, like survive, as we always say.
Mhm.
So when another man makes law, because that's how those days we migrated. If I'm living here and there's law which I can control
Mhm.
and it's against my life, I just move away. I
Mhm.
just walk out, just find somewhere else on the surface of the world, settle there with my family, and we make a new country or a new land. So that's how it's always been. That the expectation is that, and as we always say, we want saints and we want people that love God, as we say, the first law is God,
Mhm.
to be in power. But unfortunate
Mhm.
that we live in a world where nowadays we don't have any moral standing for the people we elect as
Mhm.
rulers, because we know some of them are drunkards, we know some of them are humanizers, they are crazy,
Mhm.
but because the party present them as individuals we should vote on,
Mhm.
and we are not part of the democracy, how do I put it, participation. We
Mhm.
only participate when we are going to vote.
Mhm.
So that is the problem, because whoever is coming in, gone are those days where we want to know who he is, where he's coming from, his childhood, what did he do, how sane he is. Is he
Who is your
right
father? What
person?
is
He's
Nigerians
a
will say
good man.
what is your father's what is
Those
your
are
father's
gone.
surname? Does your father has a
Yeah.
surname?
Those are gone.
Surname.
Those are gone.
You see?
So it happens that some nowadays we can have very crazy people ruling over us, and they are making laws which are against us, I mean,
Mhm.
against your freedom, against your
Mhm.
liberty, right? And then you have crazy people. You have back to slavery times. They'll make laws and consider other people as slaves, and it's so crazy when you look at
Mhm.
human beings where we've come from in terms of the laws we've made in the past. And as I say, we, meaning the people that rule over us, made those laws.
Mhm.
It's sad. A sad place when you are looking at from above. It is very sad place we've been. But there's been progress in across the world. But still, we still have people that do things with impunity. I mean, they feel like they're above the law. I mean, there's no
They feel
law
like they're
that,
above the
yeah,
law,
can
yeah.
touch them
So what can
to
we
do
do?
whatever they do.
What can we do for the what can the government do for the people to respect the law
I believe
and to
education
to be
system
afraid of the law? Yeah.
education system should begin with the law of the land. It should be part of our education.
Mhm.
The laws that they are making, I mean, is voluminous. They make it so many that we can't even catch up
And
with
the
the
law
laws
must
of the
be
land.
applied
Yeah.
with
And
no
then it
consideration.
shouldn't be, yeah, it shouldn't be so. I mean, that, you know how in our
Mm.
system of the world, in as you're talking application of the law,
Mhm.
right? You're not a criminal until somebody brings it up,
Mhm.
right? It will take either a prosecutor or a judge or an accuser
Mhm.
to bring the case before a judge or to arrest you. I mean,
Mhm.
you can walk around and then the police will say, I didn't see you, I didn't
Mhm.
see it. What will
Mhm.
you do?
Yeah.
Everybody can say, "Oh, we know he is criminal, we know he is a rapist, he's a pedophile." But if no police
Mhm.
brings
Any evidence?
any evidence or prosecute,
Mhm.
right? Like attorney general or the prosecutors, or even you the person, the
Mhm.
victim, you take your case to the police that so so and so did to me, and then the police is like, go away.
Mhm.
Well, how are you going to arrest the person? How
Okay.
are you going to get justice? So in a way, we can have the law, And it seems the same people who have to enforce it, and if they are not enforcing it, then there can be also a big issue too.
Mm.
Yeah, so I believe it's both hand, right? That we as individuals, as human beings, as we continue to uh, preach and teach people to become saints and love and care for one another, and let God lead or God life express outside themselves. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's the best way we can actually get to a place where we can respect the sovereignty of each other, and then also we all because if I respect your sovereignty as much as you respect my sovereignty, I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
do anything against you
Okay.
or harm you. As we learned the last time, I am because you are, I am. I mean, these are
Mm-hmm.
the very things, if people come to understand, it will really help. Other than that, because of the law of survival,
Mm-hmm.
there's no
People would like to
way
take
people,
advantage of,
yeah, so
yeah.
far as it's I wouldn't say it's it's nature. It's not how God created the universe. It's an
Mm-hmm.
adaptive mechanism because of circumstances around us
Mm-hmm.
that we have become exploiting the weak. It's always been the case. People, the animal kingdom, if you're weak, I find there's a weakness there.
Mm-hmm.
I can exploit, then I exploit. Yeah, even families, even friends, even all over every circle of social life and interaction, you see this mindset, this way of life where people exploiting. And now we see it as a nation. Nations
Mm-hmm.
long ago we saw it, right? People colonizing another country, exploiting other countries, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems it's coming back. So yeah, we are at a place where it is sad. It is very sad, but there's always a way out. There's always a way out if we take the path of life.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are not here to, make mockery of the lady who has been arrested, but at least, yes, it me twa assembly, the assembly safwa, need the hina assembly pono. So, what has happened to the lady is
It's sad.
it's sad and it's uncalled for. We wish the elders will find a way to forgive, but also probably in their own mind, in their own wisdom, they are thinking that no, this is going too far, so we need a scapegoat. Unfortunately, you've been used as a scapegoat, and since it happened, many people are withdrawing, and the insult is reducing. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I said the only way that the people can respect the law is for the law to be applied. Because all these things for almost 1 year, no one has been arrested over this issue. So people think that you can just come and insult anyhow and go. But when one arrest came, people are realizing that, hey, Ghana, I cannot go to Ghana again. Which is true. If they put this thing down, you can't come here because the moment you step at the airport, you'll be arrested. At least, even if you, no matter how rich you are, you can get a lawyer. But by the time the lawyer does everything, no, and you're crying, you to me, the judges can, talk to your lawyer and say, Charlie, you soon as say good. My young man in call remand 3 months. They will let you go to remand for 3 months. Look at this pastor, Agrada. Your man cooked him almost 1 year. You see, she's calm.
And sometimes too, they intentionally do that.
They intentionally do that,
They
because
intentionally do
if you
that.
are, they think that you are infesting the young one in society too much. They put a stop to it. Though they don't mean to, harass you, but they will do that for it to serve as deterrent to others. So if you live abroad, I mean, and you think that who are breaching, so you can see anything on social media and scot free. No, there is a law. And there's a law. And the law is applied to those who blatantly disregard with impunity. Oh, I love it. I love the statement. Who blatantly say, they blatantly disregard the law with impunity.
Can't touch me.
Nobody can touch me. Simple because my party is in power. That thing, a deception. Last time we talked about deception. A serious deception. You think your party is in power. Get trouble and see if your party will come and save you. Unless it is the same party people who sponsored you For that one, they don't want their name. They don't want their names to come out, so they will do anything
You
possible
have
to
protect
take you
you.
out. But if Oman Small, you are ordinary voter, Massa. We'll boast, Mama, before I say rapture. I'm here with Mr. Ajimamozu to discuss it. Where is the book? Give me my book. It's not yours. Mr. Ajimamozu is the writer of this book, The Council of Living Saints. Who call Amazon. You can search for the Meditations of a Christian Saint or the Council of a Living Saint. It's also on TikTok Shop. Get one. This is the meditation that we are trying to, go through. Probably going to help all of us because so far what we've gotten from this book, yeah, there's a lot in the book. The name is Ataba Fujamra. You can call me the Royal King. Until we meet again, don't blatantly disregard the law with impunity. The law exists. Until it gets you, you never know it exists. You're going to meet again. I love you. So love me the same. Bye-bye.